I see a lot of comments on Reddit, on YouTube, and it's a lot of comments regarding stainless liners, what to use. Most people don't know there are options for stainless liners. So I prefer to use only a couple different types. There's 4 main types, and I use 2 of them. I'm coming up to my scrap pile here, and I'm gonna show you the differences between some of the liners. So hang on a second, we'll have a look. Okay, so this is my scrap pile I got going. When I get back from a job, if I have extra lengths, I bring them all back here. I don't reuse these pieces like, I don't stitch them all together and make whole liners. I do, however, use short pieces to go from the bottom clean out to the thimble, and I'll save these for sections like that. But so I'm going to grab a couple of these types of liners, and I'm going to show you the differences. So you're not going to be able to notice at first exactly. This is a corrugated liner. I'll pull that one out. Let me see. Oh, here's a smooth wall liner. I don't typically use this stuff. Some of these are just, they've been kicking around forever. Some of them came off of other people's jobs, and I just keep them to show people as an example, really. I don't use these 2 liners. This is a smooth wall liner. This is a corrugated liner. Let me grab a couple of the other ones. That's a heavy wall liner. I mean, you can just feel it when you pick it up. I'm actually going to see if I can find a little bigger heavy wall liner. I don't really want to go wasting my big chunks of liners, so I'm going to use some of these scraps if I can. Obviously, the scrap's been kicking around for a while, but this is a heavy wall liner. And when you feel it, it is heavy. This is a light heavy wall liner. Okay, there's not much of a discernible difference when you're looking at it, but when you pick it up, you know right away. These are both good liners. They're smooth on the inside. They have those little interlocking ribs, and so that will go. You can get these liners as long as you want. You want to get them 50 feet, you can get them 50 feet. You have to buy them in 5-foot sections. And the heavy wall liner, you can see, is the same on the inside here. Same exact thing. It's just they use a little heavier material with this thicker material. And the overall thickness of it is a little bit thicker. It's really hard to tell the difference, but it is thicker. So, and then these are cut edges, so they're hard to tell. Okay, this is a corrugated liner. Yeah, you see all the corrugations in there. Outside too, same thing. These corrugations will collect creosote and make a puck in there of creosote. Depending on your stove and the efficiency. But if you have a stove that makes creosote, that is not an EPA, like a new modern stove with some kind of secondary combustion or catalytic combustor, I would say stay away from these altogether. I don't use these because I think that they're straight garbage. This is what everybody uses still to this day. They use these liners. They love to put them in. They buy them in 10-foot sections and coupler them together. And they're super lightweight. They come coiled up on a box from UPS, So that's why people love them. They stretch them out in your yard. But the fact is you can tear them putting them in because they're so thin. You can crush them. And when you're cleaning them out, I mean, the thing, they rattle around like a slinky when you're cleaning them. So you could tear them cleaning them too. They do make tools that are a little bit less aggressive that you could use to clean them. But if you're just using standard rods with a poly head brush, I mean, that thing's going to be going up and down and slopping all around in the chimney while you're doing it. Okay, this is a smooth wall liner. Okay, it's got these corrugations on the outside. This is a two-layer liner. So this is what the outside looks like. And the inside is actually very smooth. It's probably slightly smoother than both of these two. Okay, so the manufacturer of these say that the corrugated liner gets 20% less draft. So it has 20% drag effect compared to this particular liner, the smooth wall liner. Okay, and then these ones can't be far off, because to me, the feel, when I put my hand in there and feel it, it's almost the same. But when you're comparing these two together, this liner, corrugated, gets 20% less draft. So when you're installing a liner or having someone do it and you think, oh, I'm just going to get the cheaper liner, you're getting 20% less draft. Ask yourself that. Is that something that you want to deal with for your appliance, you know? And then not to mention all the creosote that's going to catch on those ribs and collect like a puck, and then it will have even less draft, you know? So obviously durability is a big factor. When you're installing either one of these two liners, you can tear them putting them in. I've seen it happen. I've pulled several of these liners over the years with pinholes all through them, because you could imagine when they're expanding up and down in the chimney, and they're rubbing on brick, say, you know, it's not insulated, it's inside of a flue or whatever, and they rub up against your chimney, you know, grab a brick here, and they rub up against that chimney back and forth. This liner can expand 4 or 5 inches, you know, back and forth. And so it just goes through it, you know, it will grind right through it. This one is probably a little better. This heavy wall, you could go at that for a century and you still wouldn't grind through it. I mean, it would go back and forth. And then this one is actually a pretty good compromise. So I installed this one a lot. I prefer the heavy wall. I like the heavy wall, but when you get a big liner, I mean, they are heavy and hard to put in, especially by yourself if you're working by yourself. I think that this one is a great alternative to the heavy wall liner. As far as the installation and overall product, I think it's a really good product, and it doesn't cost near as much as the heavy wall, as far as buying it from the factory and installing it. You can see when you get a big liner like this one, that one's an 18-inch round that I had ovalized. That one had to be put in with a crane. It's so heavy and awkward. You have to put them in with it. So you're gonna have to rent a crane when they get big to put them in if they're heavy wall. So the smooth wall, right? Let's just take a peek and see how this thing holds up. Okay. So it holds my weight, and I can crush it pretty easily. I'm kind of a skinny guy. I don't weigh a lot. And then the corrugated liner, I mean, I can just step on that thing, crush it right down. So obviously it crushes easy, it tears easy. You can it's very pliable and thin. When you put it in your hands, you can just feel the difference. This is the light heavy wall, okay? So maybe I'll do it on the end that's already cut here so you can see better, okay? Now, this one with my weight, okay, I did get it. I can ovalize that with my weight. It is stronger than both of those two, yeah? And I realize that the weight test it might not be the best test, but this is just showing you what you're buying. Okay, this heavy wall liner, I'm gonna try to, okay, that heavy wall liner is round still. Okay, can you hear it? It's still round. That heavy wall liner is the best liner, okay? Hands down, no doubt. This is the best liner you can buy. It's heavy, it's more money to install. This one is a great compromise. Okay, this one's light heavy wall, smooth wall, corrugated. Okay, and this is if you're gonna put them in order, this is the order, best to worst. Yeah. They call them different things. So there's probably other names for them, but in general terms, this is a heavy wall liner, light heavy wall. Okay, light heavy wall is also called, different manufacturers call it different things, but it's all made the same. It's called crossover, it's called hybrid, but really it's just light heavy wall. And I buy all these straight from the manufacturers before they get sold to these other companies that will, like the third parties that put their names on them. I hate when people talk about these corrugated liners or buy them, or like, you know, all kinds of people want help with their install. And my advice is stay away from these corrugated liners. That's just my opinion. What I've seen over my whole duration in the field. You know, we used to install these all the time, but this is not it. I haven't bought it in forever, but I think the price is actually really comparable to this light heavy wall, and I'd be using the light heavy wall every time over that stuff. You know, this stuff, when you bend it, you know, because it has a memory when you bend it. Okay, so that has a memory when you bend it, and the corrugated has a memory obviously when you bend it too. This stuff, however, does not. You can bend it this way, and then it will just go back the other way. Do you see? It goes back and forth. It doesn't really have a memory. You can't train it like this. So if you bend it far enough, those inside seams, oh, you could actually see one in there already. Geez, can I focus on that? Not with gloves on. Do you see that seam that's popped down there? Let me try to zoom in more on it. Okay, here you go. You see that seam that kind of popped right there? That's what happens to these when they take a steep bend. That seam will pop out like that. And so you can see that's on that side and on the outside. Shoot, I'm sorry. Let me get this oriented better here. Okay, on the outside, you don't even see that. Do you see the outside looks perfectly fine? And then you come in here and you look right where we just looked. And you see that seam. I can't get the best angle on it, but you see that seam that's popped. You know, it bent right out. And then there's absolutely no indication of it here. Anyhow, I hope you found this. I know it's kind of spur of the moment video. I didn't put a lot of thought into this, but it's just something that I see all the time, and I see it. People talk about it. It annoys me, and I wish people would just know the difference. And ask your chimney company. Ask your chimney company what kind of liner they're going to install, and tell them what you would like. You know, there's no reason why you have to just buy a stainless liner but not know what you're getting. You ought to know exactly what you're getting. And so when you compare their price to my price, then you know why. You know why there's a difference in price. And if they're charging more than I am and you're getting corrugated liner, then you know who those people are.